Good afternoon. I want to welcome the faculty, the staff, the students, and our distinguished guests. And thank you for joining me today for the annual campus address. I am Howard Cohen, and as you know, I will be serving as Buffalo State's interim president for the coming year. As David said, I'm joining you after a fairly extensive career in higher education. I was for 10 years the chancellor at Purdue University Calumet, and then I had all of those other jobs that David mentioned, and kind of was finishing my career as professor of philosophy. I had actually planned to spend this fall teaching philosophy and ethics, but Buffalo State had other plans for me. I know that we are all saddened by the circumstances that brought me here. Aaron Podolewski was a much admired president and a colleague, and I know we are all grieving his loss. Aaron was my colleague at ASCU, the American Association of State Colleges and Universities, where we served together on the Council of State Representatives. And I knew him to be an insightful, an intelligent, and a compassionate person. There will be a campus memorial for President Podolewski sometime later this semester at a date yet to be determined, but you will be notified as soon as that happens. Another colleague of mine from ASCU, Muriel Howard, approached me to consider joining you during this transitional year. Muriel is one of the most respected national leaders in higher education. Her commitment to creating high-quality, engaging educational environment for student learning at public, regional, comprehensive colleges and universities was really exemplified by her work with you here at Buffalo State. I was honored and touched that she thought of me for this assignment, and I was very pleased to have been selected to spend this year with you at Buffalo State. Before I go on, I want to get one issue out of the way immediately. You can't really intimidate me with winter. Many people have tried, but I grew up in Minnesota, and I lived in Green Bay, Wisconsin for 6 years. So what I've come to understand is that buffalo snow is a scare tactic that most of the locals use to keep the rest of us out of this beautiful and interesting city so it won't be too crowded, so you don't have to stand in line in the restaurants and in the museums and at the other cultural events. But it didn't work. I want to take a moment to recognize some of the people who are with us today. The chair of the Buffalo State Council, Howard Zemsky. Council members Linda Dobmeyer and Gary Brost are here with us today. And our student representative, Muhammad Sambundu, is here today. In the past year, Buffalo State hired 47 new full-time faculty and professional staff and 26 new classified staff. I want to ask these newcomers to Buffalo State community to stand so we can congratulate them on their wise choice and give them a round of applause. Are there any people who are new from last year? Thank you. I would also like to acknowledge the contributions of our 20 retiring faculty and staff who've given invaluable service to our students and their colleagues. We're grateful for all that you've done and wish you well in your next adventures. Thank you. We'll give them a round. And finally, I want to extend my sincere appreciation to the President's Cabinet, a strong and committed leadership team that provided steady support for Aaron during his years and has helped me immensely in my first month with you. So, Cabinet, thank you very much. This will be a year of transition for us as we prepare the college for its next president, as we develop enrollment strategies and new academic programs to ensure our economic health and to remain a leader among our peers, and as we expand Buffalo State's role in the economic development and well-being of Western New York. Buffalo State is building on a number of very significant accomplishments over the past year. The list is very long, and bear with me if I omit any of your favorites, but I do want to just summarize a bit some of the things that you accomplished in the past year. The highlight, of course, was the 10-year reaccreditation review by the Middle States Commission on Higher Education. Regional accreditation is a very rigorous process of self-study and of external assessment of the entire campus, its programs, its resources, and its support structures. The extensive effort of planning and time that you put into this review led to a very strong accreditation report. In addition to being commended for your self-study, the college received recognition for many of its practices, including its culture of collegiality, it's providing resources for scholarly productivity and the improvement of teaching and learning, for the creation of University College, and for the extensive planning efforts that have taken place during the past decade. Middle State's report specifically acknowledged about Buffalo State, and I'm going to quote now, having a mission and goals that have been integrated into the daily operations of the institution. And also, another quote, for emphasis and commitment to enhanced learning opportunities, including but not limited to undergraduate research, travel programs, small grant programs, service learning, and innovative approaches to international education. Congratulations on a job well done, and let me give you my round of applause. Buffalo State received approval for new academic programs last year, a Master of Science in Great Lakes Ecosystem Science to prepare graduates for management positions in environmental sciences, and also in that field a Master of Arts to prepare graduates for research positions and academic careers. And beginning next summer, a master's degree in music education will be available, making Buffalo State one of only 10 higher education institutions in the U.S. to offer an online graduate music education degree. I think that's pretty special. Last year was also an important year for the development of campus facilities. Our new technology building houses the departments of technology, fashion technology, and computer information systems, and it will be opening its doors this semester. There will be a ribbon cutting on September 12th at 12:15, and I want to encourage all of you to attend that as well. In January, Buffalo State celebrated the reopening of the newly renovated Campbell Student Union. That's a third-floor project that included expanded study and community space and the new fireside lounge. And also the first phase of the science and mathematics complex was completed, 96,000 square foot addition showcasing its multi-storied atrium, a building that provides housing for biology and chemistry and earth sciences and science education, and also the Great Lakes Center. Last fall, you also opened the Louis Simonelli Recital Hall, a beautiful state-of-the-art performance and teaching space located in Buffalo State's historic Rockwell Hall. And in Rockwell Hall also, let's recognize the newly renovated and expanded space for the Art Conservation Department, one of the leading programs of its kind in North America. Also last fall, you began the Transforming Lives, a campaign for Buffalo State. That's a $20 million campaign that will touch all parts of the campus and the student experience. We've already made significant headway, raising more than $16.5 million toward that campaign goal, and I look forward to our being able to hit that goal perhaps even this year and then just go right on through it. So I think that would be a great thing. With more than 1,200 full-time faculty and staff and about 10,800 students, Buffalo State had a year of many individual successes. There were President's Awards, Chancellor's Awards for Excellence, Distinguished Teaching, Service Awards, Student Leadership Recognition Awards, Student Employment Awards, Academic Honors, that list goes on. I want to extend my congratulations to all the award winners for that something extra that you do on behalf of Buffalo State. As another indicator of quality, several campus programs had successful accreditation reviews. Buffalo State's University Police Department earned accreditation from the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services Accreditation Council, making it one of only 7 accredited SUNY police departments. The Buffalo State Child Care Center was reaccredited in 2012 for another 5 years, and it achieved an almost perfect score on its assessment. The Weigel Health Care Center was reaccredited, and that was identified by SUNY as a health center that has become a source of best practice, ranking it #1 among the comprehensive SUNY institutions in a most recent SUNY Student Opinion Survey. And the Counseling Center was reaccredited in January of 2013 by the International Association of Counseling Services. All of these are outside independent judgments of the quality of the services that we support here. We're also making great strides in equity and diversity. Over the last year, the Phillips Santa Maria Award for Student Leadership and Equity and Campus Diversity went to 4 students in honor of their commitment to service, social justice, and diversity. And 4 faculty and staff received the Dr. Muriel A. Howard Presidential Award in recognition of going beyond their usual duties to promote respect for diversity and individual differences. As I meet members of our community, it's clear that Buffalo State's impact extends well beyond our campus. To illustrate this point, during 2012-13 academic year, more than 1,760 Buffalo State students participated in service learning, contributing 42,450 hours in the community from these courses. 42,250 hours of community service. That impressed me. I hope it impresses you. In the past year, Buffalo State has accomplished all this and much more. As we begin on 2013-14, our academic year, and as we prepare for the next president, we are well positioned to advance the college. Together, I know we will continue to build on these successes and give direction to our efforts. As I said, this will be a year of transition, a year in which we take our biggest challenges so we can give direction for our future efforts. I want to turn now to what those biggest challenges are. Based on fairly extensive conversations with the President's Cabinet, confirming conversations with many of you and with others in the Buffalo State community, I'm going to offer a top 6 list of issues for us to address together in the coming year. We will, of course, be working on many other issues in addition to these 6, but these 6 will have priority. They will have my full attention and the full attention of the Vice Presidents. So let me start with number 6, planning for the southwest corridor of the campus. The southwest quadrant of the campus is a kind of natural second front door for Buffalo State. The campus has a variety of needs and some opportunities that we might situate on that part of campus. Additional student housing, an alumni and visitors center, additional parking, community partnership spaces. These are some of the most obvious. But our current campus master plan does not address these possibilities. We will need to determine the best use of that space and fit our projects together so they complement one another. There's some urgency to get this done so we can make planning decisions that we will not come to regret. However these plans take shape, it will allow us to better serve our entire campus and the outside communities, and to help meet our aspirations for the future. Number 5 on this list of top 6 is economic development. Buffalo State has a role to play in the economic growth of Western New York, and SUNY has provided an important vehicle for our participation in the form of Startup New York. Startup New York is an initiative that Governor Cuomo discussed at Buffalo State in June. The Economic Revitalization Initiative is designed to foster entrepreneurialism and job creation on a large scale in association with public higher education through tax-free communities across the state, and specifically for our region. SUNY, along with other college communities, will serve as a framework for Startup New York. It's designed to attract companies to bring their ventures to upstate New York, to Western New York, by offering new businesses the opportunity to operate tax-free while partnering with world-class SUNY campuses like Buffalo State. So what does Startup New York mean for Buffalo State? Quite simply, to be a good partner, Buffalo State must find a project that we can do quickly and that we can do well. At this point, we're in the process of actively seeking out the right fit for Buffalo State to launch its first undertaking in Startup New York. And we will move ahead with this as soon as we found an appropriate project and can begin to work out the details. For the longer term, Buffalo State can contribute to the economic development in our region in other ways as well. For example, we have faculty expertise and faculty support and facilities in the technology program, and that could become part of a larger effort to help create the next generation of electric power infrastructure, the smart grid. The power infrastructure is critical to any robust regional economic growth, and our campus has the capacity to play a role here. I'm sure there are many other opportunities as well, but this is one that is very exciting and one that I think we can manage very quickly. The fourth item on our list is all funds budgeting. As we work towards streamlining our budget process, this year we will build an all funds report for our general purpose accounts, with other accounts to be added in the following year. This is particularly important as Middle States has recommended that we push forward with all funds budgeting to assist our departments and our units by providing an overall picture of their resources in order to enable us to manage our spending more carefully and more completely. Producing a useful and timely all funds budget is easier said than done. But we will make progress this year toward establishing a single budget building process and a single budget timeline. Third on the list, academic program array and institutional sustainability. To build our success, Buffalo State is at a stage of development where we need to take a comprehensive look at our range of majors and minors and to consider rebalancing our array of academic programs. In the context of strategic planning and enrollment declines, this is a very good time to reflect on the alignment of our faculty expertise, our student demand, and our regional needs. Do we have the right mix of programs? If not, what programs must we grow or add, and what programs must we reduce or cease offering? We can use this year to identify our strengths in areas that hold the most promise to fulfill our mission to our students. To address these questions, Provost Dennis Ponton will establish a review process to evaluate our current array of academic programs and to identify opportunities for the future. This process will be broadly consultative, relying on our faculty and our academic departments for analysis and for advice. I'm optimistic that we can accomplish this review this year. One element of our program offerings that is of growing importance is the development of courses and programs delivered online. I say growing importance because the SUNY system has made a commitment to Open SUNY, an effort to extend the reach of our campuses to attract new students to a web-based learning environment. I think it is clear that campuses that develop their online offerings will attract additional students, and campuses that do not may very well lose students to those who are better meeting their needs. Buffalo State cannot afford to stand by while others capture the online enrollments that might have been better served here. Second on the list, strategic planning. We are here in higher education well past the need to be persuaded that we must be strategic in our approach to student learning and student success. We know from President Obama's recent visit to Buffalo that the federal government will use its resources to encourage colleges and universities to increase the value and reduce the cost of an education. SUNY tuition is very affordable, and at Buffalo State, student debt at graduation is well below the national average. However, our challenge is to clarify our strategic position in relation to the other choices of potential students and of our supporters. We need to identify the value that we offer and work to make it a reality that is well understood. With that in mind, our current strategic planning process that concluded this year gives us the opportunity and the time now to create a plan that clearly articulates our goals and positions us in a distinctive way in regional higher education. In late 2012, Provost Ponton initiated important discussions in preparation for the next strategic plan. Building on that work, the Provost will reconvene the College Planning Council to review our mission, our vision, and our value statements, to articulate our strategic directions for the next 5 years, and to identify a small number of projects. I stress small number of projects, programs or activities for each strategic direction that will promise to help position Buffalo State for the future. The process will be designed to engage individuals representing a cross-section of Buffalo State, will establish clear timelines for developing and sharing these proposals, and will identify a small core of measurable goals that will be integral to our college's future health. Our goal is to complete this work by May of 2014. So number one on this list of top 6, enrollment growth. When it comes to priorities for this year, enrollment growth is our first among equals. Our enrollment peaked in the fall semester of 2011, and it has declined last year and this. We must find ways to stem the decline and recapture the revenue that we lost along with our student enrollments. We are fortunate to have reserves to help us cushion a portion of this year's losses, but the use of reserves is a short-term solution. Our task this year is to bring revenues and expenses back into balance, and the most productive way to do this is by growing enrollment. This project will be placed under the direction of a newly constituted Strategic Enrollment Steering Committee, but to be successful, it will need to be an all-campus effort. We will take immediate steps to address retention during this academic year, and we will explore ways to be more effective at being more effective at recruitment for next year and for the years to follow. Stay tuned on this important endeavor. So our work is cut out for us. The big question is, how do we accomplish all of this and give a sense of coherence in a way that will best shape the future of Buffalo State? In this context, I think about the words of the Greek lyric poet Archilochus from about 680 BC. One of the discovered fragments of his work included the observation, "The fox knows many things, the hedgehog knows one big thing." This insight was rescued from obscurity by Isaiah Berlin in a 1953 essay entitled "The Hedgehog and the Fox," in which he applied the categorization, hedgehogs and foxes, to some of the great writers and thinkers of the Western tradition in order to make the case that Leo Tolstoy possessed the talents of a fox but was really a hedgehog wannabe. Good insights are often copied, and most recently, Jim Collins, in his very popular book, Good to Great, argued that businesses that break out of the pack in their sectors to become great are the ones that are driven by a hedgehog mentality. I suppose you didn't know that Jim Collins was relying on Archilochus, but stranger things have happened. But hedgehogs, remember, know one big thing. So the natural question is, how do you find your one big thing? What Collins tells us is that you need to look at the intersection of what you can be best at, what you care about passionately, and what will drive your economic engine. 2 out of 3 is not enough. You've got to find the place where those 3 things come together. And at Buffalo State, I would make the case that student success is our hedgehog. Our approach to instruction, our student services, our administrative organization, indeed all that we do here day to day, even in the smallest detail, is arguably grounded in the vision that we are a student-centered campus, dedicated to the success of our students. Their achievements are indicators of our effectiveness. We believe that we can be great at engaging our students in their learning. We believe that we are here because we have a passion to be teachers and to help our students become mature learners. And we know that if we excel at our mission, we will generate the revenue that we need to keep us doing it. So our challenge is first to understand what student success means in more specific terms. For me, it means that our graduates find their own hedgehogs, that they become highly accomplished and passionate about their chosen professions, and that they can make a living doing what they love to do. If we can expand the number of students who graduate having accomplished that trio of demands, we will make the leap from good to great. To reach that goal, we will need to be hedgehogs in an environment that demands that we know many things. Can we keep our focus on what we are capable of doing best, what we care the most about, And what will finance our future? Like Tolstoy, we must become masters of the details without losing sight of our one big thing. I think we can have a great year trying to do that. So let's get started. Thank you, and I believe lunch is served.